Nicola Maria Roberts is an English recording artist, fashion designer, and songwriter. After auditioning and successfully completing the reality television series and competition Popstars The Rivals, Roberts became part of girl group Girls Aloud. The debut single, Sound of the Underground, topped the UK singles chart. This success helped them win the competition, and they were later entered in Guinness World Records as the most successful reality television music group. The group enjoyed 20 consecutive top 10 singles, spawning 5 albums and positive critical responses. During her time with Girls Aloud, Roberts received negative press attention for her pale skin tone and ginger hair, which left her depressed with her fame. In 2008, after releasing a pale skin makeup collection titled Dainty Doll, Roberts advocated the ban of underage usage of tanning beds with the documentary Nicola Roberts, The Truth About Tanning. Her public stance with the British MP led to a bill which banned under-18s from using tanning beds. In 2011, Roberts released her debut solo album Cinderella's Eyes and her debut single, Beat of My Drum. Both releases received critical acclaim but had mixed commercial success. Two follow-up singles, Lucky Day and Yo-Yo, both gained equally positive critical responses but failed commercially. The album was described as electronic-influenced and garnered positive reviews and peaked at number 17 in the United Kingdom. In November 2012, Roberts reformed with Girls Aloud and toured for the first time in over 4 years. In 2013, Girls Aloud embarked on their 10 The Hits tour, which saw Girls Aloud split following the tour's conclusion. Roberts' net worth was estimated at £8.01 million in October 2014. Early life. Roberts was born in Stamford, Lincolnshire, when her mother was 17. At the time of her birth, her father was working for the RAF, and the resulting pay led to financial struggles which saw her father move to work for Ford Motor Company whilst her mother became a photographer to help the family monetary problems. Roberts grew up in a rough council estate in Runcorn, Cheshire. She never felt threatened, but expressed concern with her younger siblings exploring the area as they probably wouldn't come back. Despite a history of drugs in the estate, she called the situation a minority and found that estates in 2010 were much worse than her own. Aged 11, Roberts and her family moved from her council estate into a middle-class area which Roberts believed was too posh for her, and she found herself returning to the council estate to spend time with mischievous children from lower-class backgrounds. In school, Roberts found herself shying away, in contrast to her home life where she was outgoing, even gaining the nickname Cilla from her family after singer Cilla Black. Academically, Roberts performed well, leaving school with 10 GCSEs, but she declared her dislike with school and began discussing a musical career, which led her to work with several girl groups recording demo tracks. In several cases, Roberts acknowledged she had always wanted to be a singer and had been entering competitions and auditions with her father accompanying her and gaining support from other family members also. In an interview with Closer magazine, Roberts spoke about how she started off her musical career at a local disco, as part of a girl band called the Five Musketeers. Music career. Early career. Still a teenager, Roberts auditioned for the reality television series Popstars The Rivals. Participants checked into a hotel in Kensington, London before performing to a panel of celebrity judges, with Roberts finding she didn't really have much life experience up to that point. During the auditions, Roberts coincidentally sat next to Kimberly Walsh, who completed the competition to become one of 5 in the final lineup of the girl group, and the two spent time rehearsing before the solo audition. Roberts felt confident before the audition, but during the actual audition she was terrified, and was unable to smile until celebrity judge Jerry Halliwell complimented her performance, stating, "I think you're great. You're an individual. You really stand out." Roberts found her clothing and personality were different to the other participants of Popstars The Rivals. Most were well-trained vocalists and were well-dressed, whilst Roberts' clothing was less fashionable due to lack of funds, and she was not as vocally well-trained as the others. Further down the process of the competition, Roberts was left as one of 15 remaining participants, but found that the reality show was becoming increasingly based on personality instead of vocals. Roberts found her personality to be more concealed than others, but was confident with her performances. One notable incident during the competition was when a show producer expressed to Roberts' mother that she wouldn't win as she was not outrageous or as outgoing as others, stating that vocals were secondary. This left her mother shocked with the politics of the show. After the final 10 participants were selected, Roberts was eliminated from the competition, but in the following weeks she was enlisted as a wild card to return to the show despite reservations from Judge Louis Walsh, who didn't want her to return. However, he was overruled by judges Jerry Halliwell and Pete Waterman. Her return to the show stemmed from participant Nicola Ward quitting, and Roberts then made it through to the final, where she sang the track "I'm So Excited" by the Pointer Sisters. She was the second contestant to be selected for the group after Cheryl Tweedy. That night the group was formed, and a party involving promotional photographs saw their introduction to manager John McMahon, who would become more of a personal friend for the group. Roberts described her time on the show Popstars The Rivals and her successes within the show. Every week before one went on stage, one used to go to the toilet, to the same cubicle, and pray, "Just ask God to please let me have this." Even though I was confident in my singing ability, and I knew I had a stronger voice than most at the same time I still had a little bit of insecurity because I'd been told Lewis didn't want me. I was never in the bottom 2, though, and the producers told me I always came in the top 2 or 3 in terms of votes each week, which was great. 2002 to 2009, Girls Aloud and disbandment. After winning Popstars The Rivals, the group went on to record their debut music video. In addition to that, a large stint of publicity left the group exhausted, since manager John McMahon continually pressured them to promote the single "Sound of the Underground." At this point, the competition with Popstars The Rivals was still ongoing, with the two groups, Girls Aloud and One True Voice, competing to outsell each other with the debut single releases. Girls Aloud ultimately won the competition, with the single topping the UK singles chart and gaining a record deal from Polydor Records. In the following days, however, news broke that the group's manager had died in a car accident shortly after texting Roberts, who was too busy to respond. The death of McMahon had a large impact on Roberts, who found herself increasingly emotionally unstable, and came at a time when she moved in with colleague Cheryl, becoming the first time she had lived without her family. It was at this time that Roberts was in the midst of several problems, including the death of her manager and leaving home. The most problematic, though, was the constant media criticism of her image, in which critics labeled her unattractive. Girls Aloud as a group enjoyed many successes, including 2 entries into the Guinness Book of World Records for most successful reality television group and most consecutive top 10 entries in the UK by a female group. In addition to this, the band gathered 5 Brit Award nominations, winning Best British British single in 2009 for The Promise. The group earned 4 UK #1 singles, 20 consecutive UK top 10 singles, and critically they have been well received with most albums. Although Roberts found at times critical opinion was less than desirable, the debut album, Sound of the Underground, peaked at #2 in the UK and was certified platinum. The second album, What Will the Neighbours Say?, was certified double platinum, peaking at #6. The third album, Chemistry, saw a critical improvement, but failed to enter the UK top 10. The fourth album, Tangled Up, became another platinum certified album, peaking at #4. Finally, the fifth record, Out of Control, became the first studio album to reach #1 in the UK. In 2009, Girls Aloud took a break after embarking on the 2009 Out of Control tour in support of the Out of Control album, which became the most extensive tour, and following this each member took time to work on solo projects. 2010 to 13, Cinderella's Eyes and Other Ventures. In the Girls Aloud 2008 biography, Roberts expressed an interest in writing and recording her own material, wanting to experiment in the studio for better understanding of the process. She then started work in the recording studio, with producers such as Dragonette, Diplo and Joseph Mount. Roberts, after a year of recording, announced that she would be releasing her debut album, Cinderella's Eyes. The first single, Beat of My Drum, had an on-sale release, meaning it had little promotion beforehand, and commercially it peaked at #27 in the United Kingdom, but critically it garnered acclaim from critics, which Roberts described as amazing. A second single, Lucky Day, was released shortly after, and whilst gaining positive reviews, it failed to make an impact commercially, peaking at #40 in the UK. The album was then released on the 23rd of September 2011. Roberts described the album as electronically led, and the album was inspired by her time performing with Girls Aloud. "It would have been stupid for me to make an album that meant nothing," she said. For Roberts, the album was about making a risky record, where there wasn't a guaranteed commercial success, explaining to The Guardian, "It's taken every last bit of confidence just to release this record. Or maybe I've just brainwashed myself into feeling more confident. I don't know if it's good, or if I've just told myself it's good." The album was released to universal positive reviews from critics. Reviewers such as Ludovic Hunter-Tilney of the Financial Times, James Lacknow of the Daily Telegraph, Emily McCarr of NME, Hugh Montgomery of The Independent and others hailed it as the best solo record from a member of Girls Aloud. Commercially, in the United Kingdom, the album peaked at #17, whilst on the digital charts it peaked at #13. In Scotland it charted at #21, whilst in Ireland it peaked at #48. In late 2012, Roberts admitted during a secret show at Carphone's warehouse on Oxford Street, to a small pool of journalists, that she was content with and prepared for the potential commercial fallout of releasing an album that was unlike anything out there. On the 6th of January, a third single from the album was released, titled Yo-Yo. The song was described as a shining example of her pop sensibilities. In January 2012, singer Rihanna chose Roberts to co-host Style to Rock for Sky Living HD. Roberts will act as an executive producer and will search for the next generation of undiscovered designer talent. The show will last 10 weeks, premiering in summer 2012. Roberts discussed the show saying, "I'm so excited to be working with Rihanna on finding a new British up-and-coming designer. I was so flattered when she asked me to work with her on this show. I'm so excited for us to get started on finding a new up-and-coming British designer who just needs a chance, a little bit of help in getting the skills noticed." Nadine Coyle confirmed the Girls Aloud will perform shows around the country at the beginning of 2013 to celebrate the 10th anniversary. On the 11th of March, Kimberly Walsh announced that Girls Aloud had started work on a new album. Roberts was at the time a judge and mentor on Sky Living series Style to Rock, alongside fashion designer Henry Holland and Rihanna. Roberts co-penned a track for girl group Little Mix's debut album DNA. The track is entitled Going Nowhere. Quote, in December 2013 she received Disc Award for her help with writing the album. The award was presented to Roberts for her contribution to Little Mix's first album, DNA, as it has sold more than 700,000 copies worldwide. After months of speculation, Girls Aloud's reunion would occur in November 2012. The reunion is set to coincide with the 10th birthday and the release of a charity single, For Children in Need. On the 31st of August 2012, Cheryl confirmed on BBC Radio 1 and Capital FM that the group's new single will be released in November, teasing the lyrics, I Just Wanna Dance. Girls Aloud reunited for the group's 10th anniversary. On the 18th of November 2012, the group released the new single, Something New, which was the official charity single for Children in Need. The single peaked at number 2 on the UK singles chart. The group released the second greatest hits compilation, 10, on the 26th of November 2012. The second single taken from 10, Beautiful 'Cause You Love Me, was released on the 17th of December 2012. A documentary special entitled 10 Years of Girls Aloud aired on ITV1 on the 15th of December 2012. In 2013, the group embarked on 10, The Hits Tour 2013. At the conclusion of the tour, they announced the disbandment. 2013 present, upcoming second studio album in October 2011. Roberts stated that she had started work on a second album. On the 13th of January 2012, Roberts commented on her second album, stating, maybe. I'm not sure. There's lots of stuff coming up and I think there always has to be a right time. I'm always working on music and if a second album came out then that would be a great thing to happen. Quote, in June 2013, following the Girls Aloud split, Daily Mail reported that Roberts was working on a second album that might be released in 2014. Roberts has written 4 songs for friend and former colleague Cheryl's fourth studio album, Only Human, entitled It's About Time, Throwback, Goodbye Means Hello, and Yellow Love, as well as writing Going Nowhere for Little Mix's debut album and for the Girls Aloud's greatest hits album 10. She contributed the track on the Metro. Roberts also written 2 songs for Little Mix's sophomore album Salute, entitled See Me Now and They Just Don't Know You. In January 2014, producer Fred Ball confirmed he was working with Roberts on a new album, Personal Life. Despite a large amount of success as part of Girls Aloud, Roberts found time away from her family increasingly difficult, but after her parents divorced and conflicts with her boyfriend, she found herself in a depressed state. Her hectic schedule led her to dissolve relations with family members, and after stating her frustration at her living situation, she started frequently returning to her hometown of Runcorn, Cheshire. Her work life and home life saw her split into 2 different personalities, despite appreciating a career in the music industry. The conflicts with her personal life made her question her career. Throughout her music career, Roberts was coping with hypoglycemia, which restricted what foods she could eat, whilst spending time on the road touring. She found it difficult not to indulge in convenience food. Her illness was diagnosed after extensive touring, in which time Roberts complained of weakness and sickness, which made it difficult to perform live concerts. Whilst performing on Girls Aloud's Tangled Up tour, Roberts' dog Elvis died just months after he was given as a gift to her. She found his death troubling and struggled to cope as she was on tour at the time. Other ventures. In 2007, Roberts had started a limited production of a makeup range called Dainty Doll aimed at the pale-skinned market whilst producing the Girls Aloud-related television series The Passions of Girls Aloud. Then in the following 18 months, Roberts expanded the collection, which saw a major release with prestigious store Harrods in London exclusively stocking the items. The success led to a release across the United Kingdom, with Roberts explaining the concept of Dainty Doll, saying, "The reason behind me doing this is because I had a point of difference, and that was because of the pale skin, and it was something I obviously felt really passionate about. I was aware that there weren't many makeup brands that catered for women for extra pale skin, so I feel proud that I've been the person to do it." Philanthropy. Anti-tanning activism. With the start of her music career, Roberts starting noting that other girls were dressing more glamorous than she was, and at aged 16 during her auditions for Popstars The Rivals she wished to look like them. It was at these times that Roberts would feel unattractive due to her pale complexion and soon began using fake tan to darken her skin tone into what she later described as a dirty mess, but at the time made her feel more attractive. Due to her pale skin tone, Roberts found herself easily burning in the sun, which led to chronic pain, and during the shoot of the Girls Aloud single, Love Machine, she had trouble filming due to severe burns, which left her wanting to visit the hospital. During her time with Girls Aloud, she filmed a television special titled Passions, for which she traveled to Taiwan, where she learned about natural skin products, something she had been interested in due to her pale complexion, and led her to develop the makeup line Dainty Doll. Following this, Roberts began a stance against tanning, which saw her produce and star in a BBC Three investigative documentary titled Nicola Roberts: The Truth About Tanning, in which she revealed her own personal tanning issues and those of men and women throughout the UK who have excessively used tanning beds. She met families of those deceased from melanoma who were actively pushing for a change in law for a ban on tanning beds for under-18s, which provoked Roberts to become an advocate for the ban of underage usage of tanning beds. And with the help of British MP Julie Morgan, the pair produced a bill to ban under-18s from using sunbeds. At the launch of the bill, Roberts said, "Going into the streets of Liverpool and interviewing the young girls who are obsessed with having a tan and feeling like they had to be brown to be seen as attractive. That whole mentality that they had gathered was just a bigger problem than I ever thought it was." Anti-bullying activism. After winning Popstars The Rivals, becoming 1/5 of Girls Aloud, Roberts soon found herself subject to bullying. She was branded the ugly one of the group, and would often cry herself to sleep, finding herself to be a victim of faceless bullying fueled by celebrities such as Chris Moyles and Lily Allen. Soon after, the comments had an effect on her mental stability. After suffering from an identity crisis, the taunts brought her close to a breakdown, leaving her feeling miserable and confused, and finding comfort in alcohol. Prior to her fame, Roberts never found flaws with her red hair, calling it a prized possession, but after critics picked on her image, she saw it as a flaw, with Roberts explaining, "I hated it, and I hated people judging me. I'd put on the telly and there'd be someone saying something cruel, or I'd open up a magazine and read it. Normal people don't have people telling them day to day they're ugly and miserable. I'd think, stop being so vain, you've got this amazing job." But it wasn't enough. It didn't stop me feeling bad. People feel they can say nasty things and have anonymity behind the net, as they did with all the nasty comments about me, without fear of recrimination. Roberts said, and 5 years after the bullying she found herself in a better place, with critics commenting on her image positively, with writers such as Clem Moody from British newspaper Daily Mirror saying, "The 25-year-old radiates confidence and, with a string of fashion successes, has blossomed." Roberts then read the track Sticks Plus Stones in response to these times, finding herself cautioned by the serious subject matter. She wanted to write a track that was not self-indulgent, featuring a universal chorus and lyrics such as, "I was too young for so many things, yet you thought I'd cope with being told I'm ugly." After the release of her debut album Cinderella's Eyes, which featured the track, Roberts appeared on the British television show BBC Breakfast to discuss bullying in relation to the track. Soon after, she advocated the issue on BBC News, where they discussed the lyrical themes of the track. And during the interview, Roberts named social networking site Twitter as being a tool which highlights the severity of the bullying issue. Finding the problem to be out of control in a schooling environment, Roberts continued to advocate the bullying issue, and with an interview to Rolling Stone, Roberts stated she was sick of an image-driven society. After her success with the anti-tanning bill, Roberts took a similar stance with bullying, saying, "It doesn't need to happen," and found that British laws were failing to combat the issue, with Roberts saying, "People are still scared to go to school. Kids are threatening to kill themselves. It's disgusting that it persists. So, again, I'm giving a voice to a cause, to hopefully affect change." Roberts then progressed to the British Education Secretary Michael Gove to raise the issue. Discography: Cinderella's Eyes, TV appearances, tours and film cameos.